Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb, and today we're going to be taking a look at both X and Y. These guys will be on separate bombs, and then I'm going to combine them together into one bomb because there's a couple quirks that I want to cover with both of them. But first things first, we're going to start off by covering X. And the way that you're going to be knowing as you're going to look at X is because of the fact that when you hover over this little board here, you're going to get the X to pop up. Now this is going to have to deal with the alarm clock here, and we're going to want to focus on what this wants us to do here. So for X, there is a quirk here that we have to do, and the alarm clock is linked to the module. Pressing the snooze button 3 times, then waiting for 2 seconds will open the panel. If at least one Y is present, this rule gets swapped with Y. And this is what's going to make the module very interesting. Let me see if I can search up. I guess I'm just going to pull up repo again. That's fine. But essentially what's going to be happening here is the reason why I'm going to combine them together is because they are linked with each other and they work in different ways. And it's going to be very important that you make sure that you understand how these differences work. So with X, what it wants you to do is if it's by itself normally, it wants you to press the snooze button 3 times, then wait for 2 seconds, and the panel will open. And the way that you can also see the difference between X and Y, just from eyeballing it once they're open, is X will open from the bottom in this case, and Y will always open from Y is always open from the left. So you'll see the difference in just a moment. But with Y, the way that the alarm clock works is it wants you to press the snooze button, then letting the alarm deactivate on its own will then open the panel. So thankfully I have the Only Connect sound pack, so this will be perfect for me to do this. But essentially what's happening is that if they happen to be on the exact same bomb, they will both get swapped. Both of their rules will get swapped with how this works. So that's going to be important to note down. So first things first, we're going to start off with X. So we're going to treat this as normal because we don't have any Y's on this bomb. So we're simply just going to press the snooze button 3 times. And just like that, as you can see, it now opens up. It's always open from the bottom. In this case, it's currently at the bottom. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to note down a sequence here whenever my alarm clock has showed up. Should be almost done. Okay, so now we're going to start from 30, and what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to note down when Y appears for each of the seconds here. So let's take a look and let's see what happens. So we're at 25 right now. 22. 21. 15. 10. 3, and that's it. So now, what these represent is we're looking at this big image here, and these both are going to be looking at the exact same images, as you can note down here. Essentially, what's going to happen here is this module is specifically looking at one row. It's looking at a specific row that we need to figure out based off of the times of these flashes, which we can use this formula here. The left square is white when the seconds remaining on the timer plus 2 and modulo 30 is white in the same position in the image. This is the way that this works here. So let's take a look. So we noted this stuff down. Let's pop out our handy dandy calculator. And the left square is white when the seconds remaining on the timer plus 2 and modulo 30 is white in the same position in the image. So what's going to happen here is that we're going to have 22 plus 2. In this case, it's going to give us 24. And we're going to have 21 plus 2 is going to be 23. 15 plus 2 is going to be 17. 10 plus 2 is going to be 12. Modulating 30 in case if you happen to be on the other side of the bomb. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 plus 2 is going to be 5. Now, one important thing to note down here is that it does have the possibility of it being 0 indexed because of the fact that it's actually going to be, if A is on the 0 second or on the 30 second, this is when this is going to apply. So keep this in mind here. So it's actually going to be 25, 24, 18, 13, and 6. And this is what you want to keep your eyes out for. You want to keep your eyes out for it being white at these positions here. So we're going to want to find 25. Which is going to be this column over here. 25, 24, then we go on over to 18, which is the Romeo here. Then we go on over to 13, which is the Mike. Then we go on over to 6, which is the Foxtrot. And in this case, we have now figured out what our row is here. So in this case, it's going to be row 14. Column 6, row 14. And as you can see, It is indeed 0 indexed. It's a bit weird how this does it, but just keep that in mind that this is indeed a is equal to 0 here in this instance, and 30 is obviously equal to 30, which is the end essentially. So this is what's going to be happening here. We've got 6, 13, 18, 24, 25. Now one thing that you can notice here is actually it's reading from left to right, which is very important to note down. So now what we're going to essentially do with this information, because now we've determined the row that we're currently at right now, which in this case it's 14. From the top, we're going to take the row's position and we're going to add 10 to this, then press the snooze button that many times. So in this case, all we simply have to do is press the snooze button 24 times. And now, let's do this thing. And by the way, I should mention, I'm using the interactive made by Luminosity and Tim for both of these manuals here. It's the exact same thing, which is quite simple. But it's much, much easier just to keep track of everything, especially because it doesn't have the original manual does not have the ability to essentially highlight over these, and it can be hard to see where the breaks of the actual pixels are in this case. But this is all we're essentially going to be doing here. So now let's press the snooze button 24 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And just like that is a solved module. The coordinate itself, U23, does not matter. It's a specific it's a static coordinate in color. You don't care about that. I'm just going to be honest with you. You do not care about that. So now, Y does the exact same thing with this module. We're looking at one specific part of this module here. However, it does it with the column now. So in this case, as you can already tell by the name, X and Y, we're looking at the X coordinate. And now for Y, we're looking at the Y coordinate. So that's all you're essentially going to be doing with this mod, and it's the exact same formula as well, by the way. So just keep that in mind. So let's pop this guy up. Let's bring out both of them. 1 times Y, because we know how this module works. X and Y are essentially just going to be swapping. It's the exact same concept. Even the submission is the exact same. From the left, take the columns position and add 10, press the button that many times. Now, this module connects with other instances of X and Y. If a given answer is correct on some instances, but not all, the correct modules will solve. However, if no instances can accept your answer, every single unsolved X and Y will strike you simultaneously. This is what makes this module a bit concerning, because if there happens to be multiple of them on the bomb, and you happen to mess up, even if you give an answer that just doesn't exist, every single one will strike you, and effectively it'll kill your bomb. It will. It's brutal. So now, let's take a look. So as you can see, this is X, and this is going to be Y, just from highlighting it from here. So now let's remember what we learned from this beforehand. If at least one X is present, this rule gets swapped with X, and if one Y is present, this rule gets swapped with Y. So the Y and X rule are going to be swapped here. So now, instead of pressing the snooze button at least 3 times, what's going to happen with X is that this is now going to be the rule of letting the snooze button deactivate. So if we let the snooze button deactivate on its own, X will open up instead of Y. Hope you guys like the Only Connect theme. You're going to be hearing a lot of this. And now, as you can see, X opened up. And now what we can do now is we can tap Y 3 times. And now Y opens up. So this is what's going to be happening with this module here. So now, let's focus on Y now, because this is the new one that we're going to be looking at. Let's note down the values of Y. Do the exact same thing we did for X. So we've got 13, 3, 2, okay. Now we're going to be starting back at 59, 58. We're essentially going to be going until 43. 53. 49. And then back to 43. Okay. So now this is going to be what we're looking at here. Now remember, Y, we're now going to be looking at the column. Now, we looked at it from right to left for X. Now we're going to look at it from top to bottom. This is quite simple. So, it is still 0 index because of the fact that we have 1 through 30 here. And remember, keeping in mind that 0 in this case is going to be equal to 2. Okay. Sorry about that. Had to yawn. So then remember, we're going to be adding 2 to each of these guys. We're going to modulo 30. So adding 2 is going to be 15. Then we have 5. Then we have 4. Adding 2 is going to be 55. Modulating this by 30 is going to be 25. And then adding 2 to this is going to be 51. Modulo this by 30 is going to be 21. Now we add 1 to each of these guys. 6, 6, 5, 26, 22. We're now going to look for this guy. So let's do 26, 22. 26. Do we have a 22 anywhere? 26, 22, 16, 6, 5. It is the first column as we can see here. Go down here, 26, 22, 16, 6, and 5. And just like that, we have our answer here. It is alpha. So now, we're going to convert this letter alpha into a number. In this case, it's going to be representing 1. We're going to take the column's position, in this case 1, add 10 to this, and we're going to be pressing this news button that many times. So we're going to press it 11 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And just like that, it solves the module. So, notice how X did not have any issues with this, because the answer was correct on this one here, so we are good to go. Now, let's finish this one off by solving this other module here by X. So this is going to be 40, that was 46, 42, 36, 35, 30, Now, the reason why I say it's 0 index is because of the fact that there's the possibility of you getting 28. That was 16, okay? There is a reason why I noted it down as such, because if you happen to get if you happen to get a timer tick on 28, what's going to happen here is it's going to add 2 to give you 28 plus 2 is going to give you 30. Modulo 30 is going to give you 0. That's very important to note down. Even though there is that 30 column over here, it's just much easier to note it down as A is, in this case, is 0. I don't know why it does this, but it does it like this. So, yeah. That's going to be whether this works. So 46 is going to be plus 2 is going to be 48, 44, 38, 37, 32. We're going to modulo 30, all of these guys, 18, 14, 8, 7, 2. And now we're going to add 119, 15, 9, 8, and 3. 19, and we're looking for rows, remember, so now we're going to be looking over here. So we're going to start at Sierra. 19 and 15. 19, 15, 9, 9, 8, and then 3, which is row 18. So now we have to do this position, take the row's position, add 10 to that, so in this case it's going to be 28. And now we get to press the alarm clock 28 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.